Throughout the years, a myriad of initiatives and policies were conceived and implemented to build, promote and foster the sense of unity and togetherness at all levels of Singapore society.
And for Singapore as a country to do well, we all have to work together to care for one another and to strengthen support for one another in a multiracial and multi-religious society. It will come under pressure from time to time. There will be threats to our cohesion and unity. But if we work together and we understand one another and have trust in one another, whatever the problems, whatever the pressures and threats and dangers, we will be able to hold together as one united people.
Self-help groups for each community were set up, funded and supported by the government. The election system was developed to ensure sufficient minority representation in Parliament. The Inter-Religious Organisation, or IRO, increasingly promoted interfaith cooperation and dialogue, and the Presidential Council for Religious Harmony was established.
If we could really provide a safe environment for such discussion on interfaith issues, it is already a big start and a very important platform, a unique platform that we can provide. What the IRO has is really a neutral platform for this. And not only that, we also really emphasize the common underlying values in religion. We must not forget that.
The message of social cohesion and harmony was also introduced in schools. Students and teachers of all backgrounds celebrate Racial Harmony Day to mark the day of the race riots and to appreciate each other's unique cultural traditions.
We have spent so much of our time and resources to get our people to come together, to interact and to engage. Unlike in many other countries where people stay compartmentalized, through interaction and engagement, people get to know each other. People's anxieties about each other can be lessened because they know each other. Knowledge will reduce that anxiety level.
A significant step in ensuring equality of the races was the decision to use English, Mandarin, Malay and Tamil as the official languages of Singapore. Official messages and announcements were delivered in all 4 languages over the radio and on television. National songs in these different languages are also taught in schools and sung at community events. The culture of unity and harmony was embodied in the National Pledge, which espouses the equality of all Singaporeans, regardless of race, language or religion. The regular recitation of the pledge in schools has played a key role in inculcating the spirit of unity and a sense of national identity in the younger generation.
It's a symbol of our unity, and it represents about how we're supposed to stay together and help each other, regardless of our race or religion.
It means we should stay together in unity.
The pledge is a reflection of us, and we are Singaporeans.
We, the citizens of Singapore, pledge ourselves as one united people, regardless of race, language or religion, to build a democratic society based on justice and equality, so as to achieve happiness, prosperity and progress for our nation.
While the Singapore story of multiculturalism is laudable, recent developments on the global stage pose significant challenges to harmony in the region and in Singapore. The waves of Islamic radicalization have reached the shores of ASEAN.
Unless we deal with that and make sure that we deal with social media and send our messages across in a way that deals with the ideology, we will lose the fight. The young are more at risk of radicalization. And therefore, we have to take special efforts to outreach to the young as a target group. We need religious authorities to step up and play an important role in countering these false ideologies, explaining why ISIS ideology goes against Islamic teachings, and raising the awareness of the community as a whole.
Discoveries of terrorist cells and training camps, as well as arrests of militants planning attacks in Singapore and in neighbouring countries, all show how real and close to home the threat is. What can each ASEAN member nation do individually and collectively to effectively address this?
We must press on to reach out to every segment of the community and speak with one rational, moderate voice against exclusivist and extremist doctrines. Such a time also calls for extra vigilance to keep our country safe and secure, whether against radical ideologies, errant preachers, or of any suspicious activities around us. We must stand as one united people and not let the radical actions of a few spread fear and suspicion among the different communities in Singapore.
The threat of terrorism, and today we're talking about ISIS terrorism, is very real, is in the region already. And one effective strategy that ISIS has always used is to weaken societies. So we have to be really on our toes and be very careful to make sure that any attempt, to divide society based on race, language, or religion will have to deal with these attempts decisively and not allow it to take root in our society anywhere in members in the ASEAN region.
While each member nation needs to find its own way to address its unique problems and challenges it faces in fostering ethnic and religious harmony, it can learn from the experiences of others through dialogue and interactions.
I believe that in a situation as complex as what we are facing today, I think you need a kind of national reconciliation. You need to have a lot of dialogue and conversations so that to find common grounds and meeting points. But I think at the ASEAN level, there could be more meeting of minds, more discussion in terms of sharing of positive experiences. There are member countries which have gone through this bad patch in their history, which they have overcome. And these are wonderful cases or experiences for other member countries to adapt and adopt.
There is no doubt that racial and religious harmony in each member nation of ASEAN is the foundation for peace and stability in the region. Not only will this provide the impetus for growth and prosperity for individual countries, but the region as a whole stands to benefit collectively. It all begins with the choices each person makes in his or her interactions with another of a different language, race, or religion.
We started from a Singapore which was racially segmented. We lived in different areas in Singapore, and over the course of 50 years, we began to live together and integrated together. It was a choice that we made. And over the next 50 years, again, it is a choice that we made. Whether as communities, as individuals, we decide that we live together and integrate, or we decide that we want to be separate and live apart. And that will shape the Singapore of the future.
The aphorism, united we stand, divided we fall, is indeed most appropriate and valuable in our quest for unity, peace and harmony in Singapore as well as in the region. How ASEAN member nations are willing to sow the seeds of unity for themselves and for the region will determine how ASEAN can become the regional power it has the potential to be.